What is up, you crazy bastards? Welcome back to the live show Wednesday night. Guys, you know we always start the show off by showing love to those companies who make this podcast happen. Guys, I've been talking about them. They're newer sponsors of the podcast, but CompanyCam has been awesome. And I really think, guys, if you have not checked them out, that you need to. We're in the day and age of technology. What we provide to our customers, it's not just about saying what we do and stuff like that. It's about being able to show it to them. Some people want pictures. You know, those Gen Z, those Gen X customers, they want pictures, before and afters. All that kind of stuff is huge. And CompanyCam does it better than anybody. I know we all trust our CRMs, whether you're House Call Pro, Service Titan, Jobber, Sarah, whatever it may be, but they do so many things. Pictures and stuff like that is not their priority. And I get it. It shouldn't be, but it is CompanyCam's. So people, the only app every HVAC company needs, CompanyCam, makes it dead simple to communicate, document, and problem solve with your technicians no matter where you are. CompanyCam brings documentation, communication, and liability protection together in one simple, easy-to-use app for you and your entire team. Yeah, I'm going to let you see some of this stuff on the bottom as I'm reading. Take unlimited photos and videos, share custom reports, create flawless before and afters, even communicate and share progress with property owners with galleries and project timelines, all from your smartphone. CompanyCam, the only app every HVAC company needs. Guys, go check it out at companycam.com/HVAC Uncensored. You get a free 14-day trial. Free. Nothing. Not like after 14 days you get billed. 14 days completely free to try it. If you like it after the 14 days, for being a part of HVAC Uncensored Nation, CompanyCam is going to give you 50% off of your first 2 months. All right. Like I said before, don't say I never gave you anything. All right. Guys, next. And this, actually, I got to wheel back because I want to show you something real fast. I know I haven't done a whole bunch of giveaways here lately, but I have one coming. My friends over at Yellow Jacket gave me I'll show that on the full screen, but it is one of their Y-Jack charging and air kits. We'll talk about it here, maybe at the end of this show, or I'll make a special post that I'm going to be giving that away, as well as some other things, some stuff from CompanyCam, but a nice giveaway plan. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty, on with this read. As most of you know, I'm a second generation HVAC tech, 20 plus years in the trade, but I always think back to those days working with my dad that I cherish so much. It's funny that I read that because today would have been my father's birthday. So happy birthday, Pops. My dad always said your tools are an extension of yourself. If you buy quality tools and take care of them, they'll take care of you. Most of the time, you only have to buy them once. Well, that brand that I think back to is Yellow Jacket. They've been making quality products for 70 years and counting, making them right here in the US of A. They didn't sell out or cheap out and send stuff over to China. If you're looking for a quality tools that you can depend on to get the job done, then look no further than Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket has been trusted by my family for generations now, and we don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Remember, 70 years of expertise built into every tool. If you're not going to buy Yellow Jacket, you're an idiot. But if you don't, go check out my friends at True Tech Tools. Remember to use the discount code Uncensored and save 8% on your order. Mr. Bill, Billy, Eric, and all them people over there, amazing people, over there at True Tech Tools have one of the biggest and best selections of HVAC tools available. So go check them out. All right. Got a great guest for you tonight. So let's get on with the pledge and rock and roll. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr. Another week, we're here. Guys, I have a great guest for you guys tonight. I think you guys are going to love this one. Hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. Guys, today I'm going to go ahead and just introduce him. I have Mr. Alan. I'm probably going to say your last name, so I'm going to get him in here. Coggins. There we go.
Yeah.
Inventor, owner, president of Cocoon Thermal Mass Furnaces. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. I was like, we were talking off air. I've been really intrigued by this because, like I said, I think our industry is a little dated. So whenever I have somebody or a guest that thinks out of the side of the box and is trying to innovate, I think it's amazing. So kudos to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely been a long ride. You know, it's one thing coming from a truck, you know, being a service tech for many years, an installer and tab technician and certified air balancer, water balancer, and having an idea and then, you know, putting it down on paper, patenting it, and, you know, just now marketing it and manufacturing and selling it. So let me tell you, it's been a long ride, and it's not over yet.
I bet. So how long, well, I guess here, before we get into that, I guess let the audience know who Alan Coggins is, like, you know, a little bit about you before we move forward.
Yeah. So, you know, I've, like I said, I was a service technician, installer, tab technician. Used to love doing air balancing. That was one of my favorite, you know, really got you thinking like an engineer and, you know, all of that. You know, husband, father, grandfather. Shriner, love horses, you know, love to ride and love to just create new things, especially when it comes to energy. This is not my first energy invention. My wife says I like to let the magic smoke out of stuff, you know, and just blow shit up. But, you know, it's good fun.
That's awesome. So, well, let me ask you this. I mean, before we get into it, where did the idea for the Cocoon Furnace come from? Like, what happened? Were you just sitting there one day and it hit you? Was it a series of events, you know?
Yeah. So at the time, we owned a construction company. We used to do kitchens, baths. I mean, we were a full stop shop here in St. Louis area anyway for, you know, just construction as well. And but before that, you know, I carried 2 journeyman cards under my belt from the sheet metal workers and went through both of their apprenticeships and all that kind of stuff too. And, you know, left the union, kind of got out of the trade for a little bit and went to go help some family members with some business. And then we ended up starting a construction company. And we were putting in kitchen cabinets for a guy. And I seen this thing hanging above his car, and it was putting out heat because it was kind of winter, you know, we're carrying the cabinets through, and it caught my eye. And that's when the aha moment happened. You know, the only time I ever seen at that point that was hanging like upside down and putting heat down was a gas YouTube heater, you know, which this was clearly not gas. It was in this residential garage. And, you know, I was like, hey, man, what is this? And he's like, no, you know, the kitchen's in here. And I'm like, no, what is this? You know, I'm like, what is your kitchen done, man? And so he actually invented the heating panel that we utilize inside of there. And so, you know, I started buying heating panels and then, you know, started building different furnaces and, you know, just really, you know, sitting down in front of that furnace, for months, quite honestly. And, you know, finally I went to my wife and I said, hey, you know, I think I've got a good furnace here. I'd like to take our brand new one out that I just put in and put this one in. And, you know, she thought I was a little bit crazy at that point, but, you know, she just said, promise me you're not going to burn the house down, you know? And I said, no, absolutely not. You know, I'm not that guy. And so we did. We changed it out and put the furnace in. And, you know, we've been living with one of these in our home ever since, you know, and that's been, gosh, close to 10 years now, I guess. And, I'm always tinkering with it. And sometimes I get yelled at, just leave the damn thing alone, but, but it's, I'm always trying to make it better, and what can I do to make it easier to work on and all those things too.
That's crazy. So how long was the process from idea to production?
Oh gosh, it was quite a bit actually. First, the idea, I got it, write it down, and that's definitely, if anybody's ever got an idea, the first step is to put it down on paper, because that's the first step to making it a reality. And, and then just go from there. But I want to say it was a good 6-7 years, before we actually, came to a marketable product, because, that first one I put in my home, I built that thing out of 1/4-inch steel. You could have built a fire in it, I mean, it would have, you literally could, it could have been a wood stove, quite honestly. But, of course I had young kids living at home and, didn't want to be that guy on the news. And, so yeah, we, we ended up, keeping it there. And like I said, it was probably a good 7-8 years at least, before we got to a marketable product. And then we took that product and then obviously went through Underwriter Laboratories. And, from there, it's been, race on, and, here, let's get out a new product right in the middle of a pandemic, fun. Nobody's seen that coming. So, we've had our hurdles, to say the least.
Yeah, I bet. And whenever you come out with new, I feel like people always kind of buck technology. They're always, they're scared of it because they don't know. So I guess, now that we talked about how long it took to create it and stuff like that, let the people that the audience know that don't know, what is the Cocoon Furnace? Like, what makes it different?
So there's really 3 key elements that make it different. So we have some special design features inside of the furnace. Our furnace is a double jacket. We have a small amount of air that we recirc. We keep basically the jacket under a negative pressure. So through any heat that normally would have been escaping out the sides, we're trying to recapture as much of that as we can. The thermal mass elements inside, which are ceramic, Underwriter Laboratories will grandfather 2 things inside of an Airstream, and that's ceramic and metal, and that's it. And ceramic's been around since the dawn of time. You can eat it, and all that kind of stuff. It's not that big a deal. And the third thing is our control algorithms, because that solid ceramic thermal mass in there, it acts as a big hot rock. It's like, once you have a thermal mass heated up, you don't need the same amount of energy in order to keep it hot. If you want to maintain a steady state, you do. But therefore, we play on the characteristics of the thermal mass, and we run our control algorithms accordingly. Whether it's for quicker recovery time, or just different heat outputs, or all different types of things. So it's really, when you add those 3 key elements up, is how that we're getting the efficiencies, and we're using as less energy as we are, and our customers are raving about just the comfort in general. Not to mention, the service techs and installers out there, they love our product because we're easy to work on. You don't need a nuclear physics degree here, in order to work on a furnace. And B, the installation aspect, we're modular. Save your back. I hated carrying those heavy gas furnaces up and down stairs and in attics and everything else. And, the fact that, we can split the furnace up in many different ways, I think it adds an element of safety, for the service technician and for the HVAC installer. And then not to mention, just the solutions that we're able to do with the furnace. Many different ways. How we first got to market was we went into the industrial sector, before we went through Underwriter Laboratories, because, on the industrial side, you're basically building a tool. And so we would build, hot rooms utilizing the furnace, mainly for chemical companies, like Spectrum Brand Chemicals here in St. Louis. And then, from there, we went through UL, and then we started selling, residential and into the commercial sector too, which, light commercial, and we're getting a little bit more heavy into the commercial these days as well.
Nice. Real fast. Hey, to everybody, I apologize. There was a schedule set for this interview. And I guess when I started, it just went live and didn't do that. So I see people coming over now because they were waiting for us to be in a different room on YouTube and we weren't there. So that was my fault, guys. I apologize. I just realized that when it said me, like pretty much asked me if I was going to start the show yet. So thank you guys for coming over. My friend Adam and stuff and them are here. Yeah. So I guess so you were a technician. If you're sitting there and he says, Alan, why should I go with your product over, a gas furnace or a heat pump? What is the selling feature? Like, what do we tell? This is why you take this over those.
So, actually, we love pairing with heat pumps. Our data has been showing that when we pair with heat pumps, we're rivaling the operating costs of geothermal. We're not beating it by any means. We're, of course, more expensive than geo, but we're the next best thing. At least that's what the data is showing. And this is real world data, not test lab data or anything like that. A gas furnace, we beat gas furnaces hands down when it comes to safety and comfort. We have all the great comfort that a gas furnace provides without all the bang. We don't explode. We don't create carbon monoxide. Here in St. Louis, I guess about 3 weeks ago, we had a home explosion. And sure enough, it was a gas leak, and those happen all across the country. I had no idea how many times, a year that we actually have home explosions, but they're a lot. And, so we're safer, we're cleaner. We can actually take our furnace and utilize, off-grid technology. We can run our furnace off solar, wind, of course, with the battery system. And, that's where we're kind of heading as well, is that, we're looking at ways that we can take our furnace and, use clean energy in order to run the furnace and basically stop all pollution in that aspect.
We have somebody my friend Adam in there is saying, what is the COP? So I guess he's saying the cost of the product, like
either cost of product or coefficient production.
Well, yeah, and knowing him, he's a pretty technical guy. So is that what you mean, coefficient production, Adam?
Yeah. Well, look, let me just say, our products will cost wise, they'll range anywhere from, 3,000 up to 8,000, depending on what model you're getting and what's it for. We've even had some commercial, industrial furnaces, be as high as much as 15,000, depending on what they are. The COP rating. So we went through Underwriter Laboratories has a verification program that they will verify your marketing claims. And, so our marketing claim is that, what we've seen is that our data in the lab was showing that we were using 50% less energy compared to what a typical HVAC electric furnace would do. And so when they tested the electric furnace against our furnace, we used up to 41% less energy to produce the same amount of heat. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't do that. That's breaking the laws of physics. But in reality here, we're not. We're using physics in a different fashion is what it comes down to. Because we have a solid ceramic thermal mass in there, not just an open coil resistive heater, when that open coil runs, it produces light, which is a shortwave infrared spectrum of heat. All light that you see is shortwave. When our furnace runs, we run in a medium to long wave infrared spectrum. So therefore, we're not producing light. Already, we're saving energy in that fact. We don't have to use as much energy in order, to basically get our elements hot, if you will. And then from there, because it's a solid ceramic thermal mass, we capture, let's just say 99.9% of every kilojoule of power that comes into that furnace. And so once your thermostat's satisfied, what happens is we shut off the power to the heating elements, and those hot rocks are still hot. It's very similar like a Dutch oven or, that kind of thing. It still remains hot for a long time. And then we run that blower motor for another 20 minutes. Well, depending on the model, 10 to 20 minutes afterwards. And, that's where a lot of people are really starting to rave about our comfort. And they're seeing the energy savings on their bill.
Nice. Yeah, because he commented again and says resistance heat is 1-to-1 or one.
Well, that's an open coil wire. Yes, I'll agree with that 100%. You know, not really 100%. When you do the math on it, you actually come out to about an 80% efficiency on an electric. And people say, well, where's the other 20% going? It's light and unusable heat. And there's the big difference. We are creating that energy or creating that heat, if you will, in a more usable fashion than what an open coil system will.
Nice. So how are you is it all just wholesale? People buying directly from you, or is it a supply house? Like how is it working with the, dealers that are doing it?
Yeah, so definitely starting out. Of course, we went directly to the distributors, and all the distributors are like, nobody has any need for your product. Nobody knows about you. So that kind of changed our marketing plan. And what we started to do was, yes, we started to sell direct in the very beginning. You can find us on Amazon, and obviously we have them on our website as well, just like everybody else does these days. And then from there, we've been trying to go after the contractors and say, hey, look, we have a better product, easier to install, quicker to install, the whole 9 yards there, and better selling to the contractors. And then we've been, slowly bringing in the distributors after that. And so really our approach has been kind of a 3-tier. Yes, you got to go after the consumer. They have to know about your product and understand why they want your product. And then from there, going after the contractors is too, and, saying, hey, look, we have more cost-effective parts, we're available, which is a big deal right now, just with supply chain shortages and everything else. And then, just going to the distributors of, hey, look, we're starting to take market share. This is where we're at. This is the future of HVAC, because our furnace, to my knowledge, is the only furnace that you can put into a home and continue to upgrade it, or continue to, write a program and make it run in a different fashion. Unlike, all the other manufacturers, if you want a different furnace, well, it's a whole new change out. And, I know another guy who sells programs, for a living, and his name was Bill Gates. And, really, when you start looking at this and you start partnering with your customer is, I think, the wave of the future here, and saying, hey, look, this is not just about us selling you equipment and then maintaining it, twice a year or whatever the case. We're taking an active role in your energy consumption and in your family's comfort as well. And that is resonating quite well. Today, people are really liking that. And, we have an energy manager. That's all he does is he looks at, how the furnace runs and, what's going on with it. And then we look for different ways that we can actually adjust that furnace to that home. And because let's face it, every home out there has a different envelope to it. And, you have to be able to adjust. And, to my knowledge, like I said, we're the only furnace out there that you're able to do that with.
Yeah, that's awesome. What it can do and get it out there. I'm crazy that I never even, didn't know much about it until now, because the technology, like I told you before, I think we're behind as an industry. So seeing stuff like this make leaps and bounds is pretty awesome. Nate Peterson asked, he said, what is the maintenance cycle?
The maintenance cycle is actually really easy. You're still going to want to, sell a maintenance agreement, of course, to your customer. That's, ultimately, you maintain that good relationship, everything else. But there's really no maintenance. Change the filter. Everything else is all, that's it. There's no oil ports or anything like that on the motors these days and all that stuff. Change the filter. You're good to go. Of course, during the maintenance inspection, we, in our handbook, we say, hey, look, check your electrical connections, and, just like you would on any other, electrical component, if you will, and any other, whether it's heating or cooling. So when I built this, I really wanted to just kiss it, keep it simple, stupid. I don't know how many times I was out there changing out a heat exchanger, and it was a 4 to 6 hour job. If we had a catastrophic failure in the furnace, you can be inside of the furnace. A catastrophic failure would be one of our heating panels going out. which doesn't happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some out there, of course, but you can pull that heating panel and be in and out of that furnace within an hour, and then you're back up and running. So, you're not taking 6, 7, 8 hours in order to, change out a heat exchanger or anything like that. We label everything. We color code our wires, the whole 9 yards. That's one thing that I always said is that, this was built by a service technician for us service technicians. How many times have you opened up something and it's a rat's nest, of wires or, anything else like that? It's keep it simple, stupid on the whole thing. And, where it doesn't get, simple is our controller. Our controller is a smart relay made by Schneider, out of Belluno, Italy. And, that controller is like any other control board, though. You got power coming in, no power going out, you got an issue with it. However, if you think there's an issue with the program, you take a USB stick, plug it into the controller, cycle power, you're back up and running with a new program inside of there. I mean, it's that simple. So yes, very low maintenance. Really, there's not a whole lot to do to them other than keep them clean. And, we all know that every homeowner changes their air filter at least, once a month, of course,
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Love that. They always go, oh, yeah, I changed the air filter and there's a Navajo blanket sitting right next to you, and that's the air filter full of all the dog hair and everything else,
Yeah, right. Somebody asked, my friend Adam asked again, he said, are your heating panels proprietary?
Are they proprietary? Proprietary to our system? Absolutely. Our heating panels are, you're not going to find them anywhere else except us. Is what it comes down to. Every other component inside of that furnace, yes, you can go down to the supply house and get.
So I see the pictures of them. So pretty much so obviously we still have a blower motor with a wheel to be able to move air across, just rather than a gas heat exchanger. That's where your panels take the place, right? Am I in layman's terms?
Layman's terms, that's it. Correct. And inside of there, we've got, in each heating chamber, we've got 4 panels inside of there. And then we actually have some stainless steel mesh in there that acts both as a heat exchanger in order to collect the IR energy that's coming off of the heating panels. And it also, it also puts a little bit of back pressure on the fan and creates turbulence inside of the bonnet of the furnace. So that the way we can make sure that we get air across our heating panels and across the heat exchanger, and in order to get that airflow going and collect all the heat that we can.
That looks pretty. So. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and that's the other beauty about this too, is that our heating chambers can, they can be stacked. We can take a heating chamber, stack it on the return side of the fan as well. Because, you've technically, we don't need airflow with the furnace. Of course you do for safeties and all that kind of stuff. But we've sat and we've ran these furnaces, for basically hours with no fan on them. Now, of course, you'd eventually overheat and all that kind of stuff as well. But, they're very robust, unlike a conventional electric system. As soon as that fan goes out, and if your thermal limits don't trip, you're looking at new open coil wires, where we're a big difference on that.
Yeah, I see that. So are these 115, 240 volts?
So actually we have a combination. We can build, and now all furnace, of course, is going to be 240, 208, 240 volt. We even could do in the 3-phase, both 3-phase Y and Delta. And then, the heating panels, yes, we can run them. We can build heating panels as 115 and run them in series, for a 240 volt circuit. So we've just got all kinds of, options and solutions that we can do both with the heating panels and with the furnace as a whole.
Yeah. So I'm looking at some of the units. So I know we just said that. So this one says it's, the Cocoon Furnace AC bundle, 1800. So I see your little, the little stackable things that you put on, how you said you can use different heating packs. So one of those, it is actually just like a fan coil, and then the piece sits on top of it, but you can put more than one of the heating panels though.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know which picture you're looking at there, but if you're looking at like the 2000, I don't know if you can stick it up. Yeah. So like the tall one right there. So at the very bottom is a blower chamber, and in the middle, where the UL verification is, that is a heating chamber, and then where the Cocoon sticker is, that's a heating chamber. Now, if you look off to the left there, where the bundle is, on that one, where it says one heating chamber.
Oh, whoa, there we go. I accidentally clicked on it. My fault.
The furnace there where the bundle is, that's a blower chamber, and then where the Cocoon is, that's a heating chamber. And we have reasons for putting in two heating chambers compared to one. One, we found the more thermal mass you have inside of the furnace, the longer, cool down times we can get, in order to help cut recovery times and, those different types of things. Two, we can actually run on lower air speeds as well, because now that, that air molecule spends more time in that bonnet of that furnace in order to, to be heated or, whatever we want to do with it at that point. Modularity was a key thing that I wanted to have inside of the furnace here, just have with the furnace, because, I don't know how many times, we'd go out to install a system and, it would be like, the furnace is just 2 inches too short, or too tall rather, all those kinds of things. And it was like, well, the job would have been better had we put a low boy in or something like that. And then, kind of go from there. In your area, depending on what gas we're going up against, quite honestly, and depending on what is happening with that. So if it's propane, we're usually kicking the tar out of propane furnaces all day, every day, just because of the price. Natural gas, what we have found is that the customers who are looking to get rid of all the gas out of their home, then yes, it becomes, about a 10 to 20% savings on their utility bill. And one reason why is that here in Missouri, all the gas customers are charged a meter fee. Well, you turn around and you take that meter fee off, that's an extra, here I think it was $35 a month just for the meter fee alone. You take the meter fee off, and then the gas usage and everything else, it does end up coming out. But otherwise, depending on the price of natural gas, what was it, 2 winters ago, we were cheaper than natural gas, just because natural gas prices went through the roof. That's when Texas, froze and everything else. And, we heard some horror stories from gas customers here in Missouri anyway. The companies charging them $10,000 a bill and, all those kinds of crazy things. And I'm sure you've heard them and talked to people with them as well. It kind of depends on the time of year and depends on your geolocation, really, and what your gas cost is.
Nice. Well, I guess I thought about this because you hear all this stuff about, I've been to some different conventions and stuff where they talk about possibly doing away with gas furnaces. I still think that's a little far-fetched. I mean, not saying that it can't happen, but I think that is going to be like way down the road. So something like your product kind of, that would help you,
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that, but here's one of the things, like in England, they've already passed, laws. There's no more new gas furnaces going in as of 2023, I think it is. We're expecting England to be a huge market for us. On the East Coast, they're kind of starting to do the same thing. Well, from what I understand, you're in Baltimore, right? I think you're probably seeing some of that already or hearing some of it. They're looking to ban gas. And here in the Midwest, it hasn't quite hit us here yet, but I think it's just a matter of time. When you really start looking at it, when you have a furnace that you can run off of solar, wind, and the grid, of course, it really starts to become about smart power. And how are we using that power? And how are we, taking that power to heat and cool our homes with? And, you mentioned that earlier, and I heard the podcast with, the gentleman from Cardone Ventures.
Brandon Dawson.
Brandon, yeah. The data and everything is, that's the wave of the future. That's what's happening here. We feel we're sitting in a prime spot for that too, because, our furnace collects data. We have a little SD card in there that collects data and everything. It's just a matter of time, I think, before the rest of the world does get away from gas in general. Just take a look what's happening in the auto industry right now. Gas is through the roof. It's unstable. Gas prices are crazy fluctuations right now. And from time to time, we see that in the HVAC industry as well. I think you see it more with propane than you do natural. But I just think it's a matter of time before we get away from it all. In our furnace, we get gas-like temperatures out of our furnace. It's not uncommon for our furnace to be running 110, 120 degrees, depending on what models they are. We can even, clock them a little bit higher than that. People want that gas-like comfort, without all the kaboom.
How are you guys? Well, here I'm writing down so many questions. I don't want to bounce back and forth. How, as far as blowers, are we using variable speed technology? Is that something that it doesn't really make sense in this, or? Oh no, yeah, we love variable speed drives. That's really the only way. Right now we're utilizing a NEDEC motor. Which we really like the NEDEC motors. We've had good success and good luck with them. And it's basically like you could take a rescue select motor if the motor in our furnace did fail, and you could use a rescue select in order to get a customer by over the night, if you will. Variable speeds, in my opinion, is the only way to go. I agree, and it works well with our technology too. Nice. How is it as far as getting parts? Are there a certain supply house that you guys have that you're dealing with, or people getting them directly from you? So I put one of these in my home. Well, I guess I put one in a customer's home. I guess I won't say my home. And something goes down, how ready available is it to be able to get everything to, well, I guess the only thing you're really going to need is going to be a motor, right? That's the only thing that could go down. Well, don't get me wrong. If somebody hooks, something up wrong, or, you get a power surge or something, from time to time. We do have fuses inside of our furnace, because I put them in there because they've been tried and tested for the dawn of time. The components that are inside of our furnace are very economical. Basically you're a transformer, 2 contactors, and we're using DP contactors in there. And then it's, a pressure switch and terminal blocks, which are basically just a landing area for the wires. And that's it. Besides the controller, which, you could go get the controller at one of, the industrial supply houses like Gray Bar or someplace like that, So yeah, the parts are readily available. That's one thing about our furnace, and that's one thing that I wanted to do, is that I hated getting OEM parts, and I tried to get away with as many as I could, because it never failed. I'd go out to a customer's house and I needed to have this exact inducer motor, for this particular furnace, which meant I was driving an hour back to St. Louis or whatever in order to get that part. And, just being a service tech going, you know what? I've had many days where it was Friday, 5 p.m. and, these people, I'm going to have to leave them without heat because supply house isn't open until tomorrow, or all those kinds of things. So I wanted to make sure that the components that we built, that we used inside of our furnace, were components that most of you guys already carry on the truck already. Well, my friend Adam said, I'm going to try one. I can sell one tomorrow. He said, I'm going to call Alan tomorrow. Give me a holler. We'll make it happen. That's for sure. Yeah. There's Adam is one of the ones that they're him, my friend Nate. There's a bunch of them that they're very good technical guys that they, push the envelope, doing things with a lot of heat pumps and, different stuff like that. So I figured that they would like this podcast. Mr. Nate Peterson said too, is the pressure switch to prove heat exchanger shell isn't compromised.
The shell isn't compromised. No, actually, so our pressure switch is actually our fan proving switch, is what it comes down to. At first, going through Underwriter Laboratories was an experience in itself, and I got to say it was a pretty good one, but, originally when you're talking with them, they're like, oh, you got to have, a pressure switch or, some sort of fan proving switch inside of your furnace. Well, we put it in there, and then later on they say, no, you don't have to have it. And I said, okay, well, we're not going to put it in there. And then they said, no, it's in the furnace. You got to leave it in there now, so it was kind of like, all right, fine. But it was actually a really good thing that happened, because now we've got these safeties, if you will. That's a safety after a safety after a safety, is what it kind of comes down to. We use the pressure switch to make sure that our fan's running more than anything else. And in a bind, if you didn't have one, sure, you could jumper it out, but you better get back there and put a pressure switch back in for that customer. We've seen it many a times. You've been out someplace and it's, negative temperatures, and the last thing you want to do is leave your customer with no heat.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't want that. How are you guys as far as like training and resource? I know there's not that much to go wrong, but I know a lot of these manufacturer training and the resources for like people to be successful is kind of huge. Is that something, I know you're newer, but have that,
Yeah, we're scaling that. I mean, we do have training, of course. We have furnaces in colleges. I love going around and talking with the young people and talking about the trade and getting people involved into the trade. So we've been doing some stuff with the colleges, of course, kind of our grassroots movement, if you will. And then, of course, anything we can do anything over Zoom, Skype, or whatever the case. Honestly, we could have you trained to put this furnace in a matter of 20 minutes. I mean, you're already putting furnaces in. It's not that different. Except like we've had some people go, oh, well, you guys put an A coil on top of your furnace. Aren't you worried about the water coming down and hitting your heating panels? Absolutely not. Missouri is the cave state. And, when I didn't have $4 million to go build a lab, but I did have a friend who owned a cave, and I said, hey, buddy, I want to go put a furnace in your cave. And he's like, really? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And, his cave got flooded. And this is early on. And so I went down and changed the electrical components in the blower motor and fired it back up. I mean, they're ceramic, you take ceramic dishes and run them through the dishwasher. I wouldn't recommend doing that with our panels, but it's kind of water's no problem. There's just so many different things that you can do with the furnace. And especially once you really kind of get familiar with it, it just gives you more options, both as a contractor, as a service tech, and as a homeowner too. Another key difference too is, most electrical furnaces you put on top of a metal box. Well, you can do that with ours, or you can cut out the side just like you would a gas furnace. That's fine, which now that may save you, 18 inches or 20 inches, for your coil. Because let's face it, the A coils just continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You need three men in a small boy to move the thing sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
And, so we've just got tons of install options. And, I really think when you actually take the time and look at the furnace and look at how it's put together and everything else, you'll see that it's quality over quantity right now. And that I figured, I put a good quality product out there, the quantity will follow.
No, and that's a great mindset to have. And it's also, we always say it's also about if something's installed properly, it'll work properly. So that's why I asked about the resources. If people know and they go put these things in, then the way they're supposed to be and follow all the proper practices and procedures that you guys have set forth, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. So I was going to ask this, how does, can it be matched up to any system? So I see the stuff on here. So it looks like private label is what you guys are doing through that.
Yeah, we've been doing private label. We've hooked up to just about everybody's system. I mean, it doesn't matter what condenser you're selling or, airflow is airflow at that point. We've had success, with all of them. We haven't really found one that, oh man, we can't hook into this. One of the other things I want to say too about, when they install the furnace, inside of the back of our installation manual, we have a commission sheet, in which, I preach this all the time. It's like, if you guys are going to go out and install this, $20,000 system or whatever, great system it is, and then you don't commission it, it's like you just bought a new car and never changed the oil in it, or, I mean, you're not doing your customer any good there, and so we ask that basically that commission sheet be sent to us afterwards, because then we can look at the temperatures and the amp draws and, and everything else and exactly know right then and there, okay, no, they were not installed properly. It's not uncommon for our furnaces to reach, 40 to 50 degree temperature rises out of our furnace. Depending on what model it is, 50 may be too much. We may want to run it at 45. So, I mean, we can see this as well. And that's us trying to, give that support to the contractor and, saying, hey, look, we got your back here.
That's pretty awesome. We had 2 questions come through. One, what type of warranty is on them?
Yeah. So we've got 10-year warranty on them. If that's obviously, if you register, if you don't register, it comes down to, like everybody else's, commercial, you're going to end up being 3 to 5 years, on it. So we're trying to keep up with everybody else's warranty out there. I'm not going to go to, I think somebody told me that, somebody was moving to like a 20 or 15-year warranty. And I'm like, that's just ridiculous. It's
some of the Daikin stuff is at like 12. I think you can get 12 years and it gets, you get a little too crazy. My friend Adam, the one who said he's going to call you, said, I was thinking of trying it with the Fujitsu J series VRF with the DX module. So you got him, you got his brain over here moving. He's trying to match you up with something. He's getting happy. I can tell by his firework and boom boom emoji. So
nice. Yeah, hooking into heat pumps or ACs, and that's actually one thing that we're doing right now is we're finding that when you do a draw through coil with our furnace, we're seeing that we're getting an uptick in the cooling side, because now that hot rock turns into a cold rock, and so I mean we're seeing some things there. We're playing with some stuff there too that I think is really going to come out and be very good.
Nice. Yeah. He's another one here, not to keep firing him out so I don't miss. He was wondering about the fan tables. What is the recommended TESP? I'm sorry.
TESP, external static pressure. We're right in line with everybody else. I mean, if you're running a high static, your airflow is dropping. It's, the static pressure drop through our furnace is about less than what you would find in an air filter. I mean, it's like, I think it's 0.1 if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
0.01 anyway. I mean, it's pretty minimal. But it's going to fall in line with everybody else. It's, if you're seeing high static, your CFM's dropping, then you need to adjust your fan speed accordingly.
Nice. I'm just curious. So if people want to buy one of these right now, or say we want to be, I want to be a dealer of the Cocoon Furnace, like how do you go about doing that? Reach out to you?
Give us a call. I mean, a lot of times, yes, I still answer the phone, and I still, I love doing that. I mean, I've got a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into this, and just to kind of hand it over, to people and say, oh, good luck. I mean, I try to be that leader, like what we were talking about earlier, be the leader that I always wanted. And, just reach out to us, give us a call, shoot us an email, and, we can go from there. And, really what we want to do is kind of learn about your business a little bit, and, just kind of see what what hurdles you're facing, and what we can do to help you, and will some of our equipment really provide you more solutions, or even perhaps another sales option that becomes a good, better, best scenario. A lot of people ask me, they're like, oh, am I just buying new equipment? And I say, no, you're buying the Tesla of the industry, and that's exactly what we are. We are the Tesla of the industry.
That's awesome.
Just reach out to us, and we want to help you succeed, because if you succeed, we succeed.
No, that makes perfect sense. And what you said earlier is, you sell this furnace to somebody, okay, maybe it's a little bit more expensive, but really that furnace is going to quadruple the life of the air conditioner because everything in there is replaceable, right? You said.
Yeah, correct. I mean, and that's one thing. It's like, that we're talking and trying to say, hey, look, we're trying to partner with your customer as well, with their energy consumption, with their energy usage. And, that data is key to see that, because then we can make those adjustments, in the furnace, to help them. And, that has a way of exceeding throughout the distribution chain, if you will. As far as us helping you, the contractor making money, and obviously, we're making money, contractors making money, and the homeowner seeing the benefit and the solution.
Yeah, I love that. Do you guys have any content or like videos out of like these things in operation and stuff like that? Like, the website is good, but I would love to just watch some content of these things just to,
Yeah, we've been shooting some content here lately. I'm a little bit old school when it comes to some of that. It's trying to find the good ones out there. I mean, we've got an Instagram page, of course, where you can see some of the installations and all that kind of stuff too. You see the different installation aspects behind it. But yeah, we're getting ready to release some new content on that, as far as just talking about the furnace, how they are and how they're installed, and different avenues like that as well. So
that's also, well, if you get some stuff like that out there, email it to me or get somebody to send it, and I'll help get it out there too. And I know some of my friends here who also, some of the other ones are influencers too, that they'll help pass it around in some of these groups and get people talking about it. Cause I definitely think it's neat, and it should be definitely an option, to people. I mean, that's our job, is to go out and give customers options and let them choose, not to make up the mind for them. And this seems like it's really, really neat. I can't wait to actually. I would love to see one. Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, we'll get some more content going, and we'll get it over to you guys as well. I mean, that's one area. It's like I said, it's been quite a ride. Coming from a service truck, if you will, to this new role. And you have the idea, and you get it out there and start selling it, and it's a new world. And Lord knows I've made some mistakes, and Lord knows I'm going to make some more mistakes too. So that's part of it, though.
Yeah, that's all of us. Well, and it's funny, we talked about this question before I started, and then didn't even ask it. So I want to make sure that I do, because I love this one. Was how you started inventing various products, and where do you see the future of HVAC going in the next 5 to 10 years?
So I think the HVAC industry will be your basic, very similar to what Brandon said on his podcast. It's going to be the center of the home. Let's face it, it already is. It's just, I think it's going to become more mainstream, as it already has, if you will. Everybody's got the app on their phone, and, they're able to check their furnace now. And, that's something completely new compared to when I entered the trade. There is no such thing. So, I think that's going to become more prevalent. I think, furnaces in general, anytime you're the guy leading the pack, if you will, and I feel like I am in this sector right now, is that, you've got a target on your back. And they say imitation's the best form of flattery, but boy, does it piss you off. That's no doubt.
I hear you.
And it's coming down the line. I think all furnaces will have some sort of adjustment capability to them, like we do. Being able to put that furnace in and really affect how it works and how it makes you comfortable, or how it makes your customer comfortable, or just how it works in that environment is going to be key. And I think I see, of course, program changes. It'll be a constant thing once a year, just like your maintenance agreement. Well, Mrs. Jones, we're out here and, we've got new data on your furnace and we're going to make some changes and go from there. And I think that's going to be a mainstream thing here, in the next 5 to 10 years. Energy products, how did I get inventing energy products? So when I was going through the sheet metal workers and I went through their apprenticeships, we were constantly told, you guys are the most experienced and skilled in all the trades. And, back then when I was a cub, I didn't realize it or even quite understand it. Until later on, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, you got to be a chemist. You got to know geometry. You got to know people skills. I mean, just the whole 9 yards. It just kind of goes from there. And, the first energy invention I had is I invented the nation's first hybrid LED street light. Uses wind and solar power and LED lighting. Ran 100% off grid with battery technology. And that was close to 12 years ago. And, I just always had that passion, what can I do? How can I create something new? And how can I create something that's going to impact, my life, save us energy. And then as I got older, it became more about, okay, how can I help keep this world a better place for my grandkids? Those kinds of things. And I have two beautiful granddaughters, and that's something I think about all the time. It's like, I want to leave this place better than when I found it, when my number's called.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it's awesome that you actually did something, because a lot of people say that and they want to do something or they have an idea, but they never follow through with it. It's the same as starting a business, inventing a product. You have that idea, but most people don't follow through with it because it's scary. The work that's involved behind it. And the fact that, it wasn't just starting a business, it was developing a product that's never been made before. Like you said, dealing with the ridicule, being the different guy. So, that's why I said before, kudos to you, because I think this sounds awesome. And I think there's really something here that is going to be innovative for people to use, especially with, the political policies and stuff that are coming out, with the different fuels, gas and solar and stuff like that.
We were at the AHR show, not this last one. We missed out on that one, but the one that was down in, I had a furnace up in Chicago, and then I had one in Orlando.
I was in Orlando.
Yeah. And so we had the nice big red container down there, and, we brought our battery systems down and ran the furnace off grid while we were there. And we literally had guys coming by, and of course, I wanted to have that airflow just, blowing in your face as you walk by the booth, and they'd say, man, is that a gas furnace? And I'd be like, no, it's this. And as a matter of fact, look, it's running off grid too, and, we're going to get out and get more of these trade shows and more, all that stuff as well. But, the one thing that I wanted to say is that, it's not just having the idea, and it's not just getting behind it and trying to make it work. It's constant, uphill all the time. You've got to work at it, continue, because, you're going to face more. If anybody has an idea or something, that they're looking to possibly try to get out, you're going to face more ridicule, and you're going to face more anything because you have something new. And let's face it, we as human beings are, very much stuck in our ways. This is the way I did it. And our industry is horrible for that. I don't want to try anything new unless my grandfather and my dad did it that way, and that's, and I've been guilty of it myself. And, I think the timing's right, for our industry to really see some big innovation like we are right now.
Yeah, I agree. I know we're getting close to the end of this. A few more questions before we go.
Sure.
How long would shipping take from the time you place the order? Like, how long would it take somebody to get one of these?
Yeah, we're usually a couple day turnaround time. Not long at all. I mean, unless you're ordering 100, then yeah, that's going to be a little longer, of course. But if you're talking kind of onesie twosie type thing, I would say within a week anyway.
Nice. Then we have how many furnaces are currently installed out and about? And it's just how much stock do you have? So I guess that's kind of the same.
Yeah. So stock is an ever changing thing these days. Right now we're doing okay with stock. As far as furnaces out there, I think we've passed the 150, 175 mark, right around in there. Just to let you guys know, I've got furnaces in Newfoundland. I've got furnaces in 2,000-year-old castles in Italy. I've got, furnaces over in England, up on the East Coast, actually up there, not too far. Well, I've got a few of them in Baltimore, as a matter of fact. So
I want to find them.
Yeah. We've got them all over. Mainly right now, our biggest market has been overseas, just because of the energy costs and because of the laws that are on the books there now.
That's, yeah. Sorry, some of these questions are popping through. Guys, we're going to get ready to start closing this out. So if you have last few questions for I don't know why you got questions for me, but myself or Alan, go ahead and shoot them out. We'll start to close this thing out. But is there anything else you think we missed that you would like to throw out there or cover? Or maybe, I was a horrible host and didn't ask you a question or something.
No, this has been awesome. Thank you for having me. The big thing is that, if you're looking for new solutions for your business, give us a call. We've got something that our industry hasn't seen in quite some time. And, it's the reviews are there. The people love the heat. They love how it acts with their home. And, just give us a call, and, we'd love to partner with you guys and, get this out to the world, because, I think we're going to be able to, like I said, eventually take these 100% off grid, or at least within grid tie, if you will, and, really, really take that smart energy to the next level.
That's pretty wild. Adam said, I always meet cool people through Gil. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that, brother. And he's the one who's going to reach out to you. So yeah, this is awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad that we could get this podcast and stuff like that. If anything changes for you guys, or a new product or a change or something, please reach out. I love to have you back on, or even back on to talk about this again. Just if I can help get it out in the forefront, because I really think this is neat. I love hearing about new stuff, and pushing our trade forward, and not the same old stupid boring shit that we always see. Like, we're stuck in the Stone Ages. Like, I feel like it's the automotive industry gets a notch up, and then it's like, oh, well, I guess we better try to get right behind them. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to say, depending on what happens here with the supply chain issue and everything, we're here's an exclusive for you. I haven't said this yet to anybody, so you get the first one here. We're going to be releasing our energy pods hopefully this fall. That's a big, again, that's our battery system that's going to work with our furnace. And of course you can tie solar and all that stuff into it. So we're really hoping that, this supply chain issue really starts to kind of, be finished this summer anyway, or at least kind of start to get back to normal. So we'll kind of see how that goes, but I'll definitely keep you up to date on that. And, when we do release it, I'll give you a call.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. That sounds great. Those, the videos and stuff that you said that you guys are in the process of making, when that stuff is done, where can people find that at? Somebody's asking.
Yeah. So we'll have it on our website, of course, and then we'll get it out to all of our social media channels, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and then we'll send them right to you. They'll be able to find them with you as well.
Nice. So the Cocoon Revolution.com, that is the main website?
Yeah, cocoonrevolution.com. And then, like I said, I still answer the phone from time to time. So, it's 931-1004, 314-931-1004.
Nice. That is awesome. So, well, Mr. Allen, but I thank you for coming on. This is awesome. Congratulations on your product.
Thank you.
Like I said, kudos. This thing is definitely innovative, and definitely let's keep in touch, because I want to find whoever's in Baltimore, because I want to see one of these things in person. I'm just going to knock on random people's doors like, hey, can I go downstairs for a second? I'll be here for like an hour or two.
Well, I'll definitely put you in touch with them. And so you can go over and check it out. She's got 5 of them there. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. They're some of our earlier models, but they still run and gun.
That's fine. And hey, I'll make some of my own video content and put it out for you. So
awesome.
But all right, Mr. Allen, well, I thank you, sir. I'm going to go ahead and start closing this thing out real fast. Thank you to everybody in the comments for the interaction. It was a great interaction on this show. So real fast, trying to go through Pat Finley, Luke, Ryan Fong, Mr. Jake Kraus, thank you for being here. Ryan, I'm glad that you like your Western 650. That's badass, Muddy. Mr. Tung, how are you? Adam, obviously, asking so many questions, and also the same to Nate Peterson for asking so many questions. Thank you guys very much. And thank you to Suspects for telling me about your bathroom habits. I appreciate that. Apparently that was what you put in the comments. But yeah, guys, go check this out. So that is going to be Cocoon, COCOON revolution.com. This stuff looks really neat. And we always talk about some of the latest and greatest things that come out, the new SEER, the new ACs, the inverters. This thing is very intriguing. And I am very, very interested to see one of these and see what it can do, because it sounds pretty awesome. So definitely go check that out. And like Mr. Allen just said, I'll stay in touch with him and try to, bring any news that I hear, videos and different content so you guys can see the products. But definitely check out that website. But, yeah, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. Remember to go follow me on all the social media sites. I say all like it's a whole bunch of them. The only ones I'm really on is going to be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Download the audio podcast, take a listen. I know sometimes it's hard to watch if you watch the video, you don't really listen to the audio one because it's the same content, but I would appreciate that. Stay tuned. Probably going to be on Instagram here this week. I'm going to go over how the giveaway is going to happen. So I got some other things that I got to give away. So we'll get all that taken care of. Yep, making sure there wasn't anything else I needed to say. So guys, remember, be safe out there. Always make it home the same way you left. We all got somebody to make it home to. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy. We talk about different things every week. Put in the work. Try to get better. Be better. Do better. Do those little things that will set you apart from your competition, the other employee, to get a raise, to make your company better, whatever it is. No excuses. Do the little things. And I promise you, it will pay off for you in the long run. All right, guys, I appreciate you. I love all you MFers. I thank you so much for your support. I really do. I can't thank you guys enough. Yeah. Until next week, I will talk with you mofos later. All right. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.